Good morning, loved ones. Welcome to our Sunday morning time of connection together. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I say this nearly every time I open a service or a meditation or whatever it may be, and that's because I am constantly living in an attitude of gratitude. And so I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that you're all here. It did not occur to me last week, before getting into last week's message, that it was the Advent season. It snuck up on me. I was thinking for some reason that I was safe until December, and then found out I was not. That in fact it was Advent that started on November the 30th, but I didn't want to leave it behind because for some reason it kept calling to me. And so I decided to get into it, sit with it, meditate with it, and work with the Advent season. The Advent season is celebrated by Christians. It is a Christian observance of what is referred to as the Christmas season. So it's a Christian thing, but I believe it has some themes that can help us all and help us to develop a broader understanding. And so I wanted to bring together Advent week 1 and 2 today. Advent week 1 is hope, week 2 is peace. And for me, I want to title the series over this next few weeks, The Arrival of Awareness, because the word Advent means arrival or awaiting something. So I want to look at hope and peace today as possibility and coherence. Possibility and coherence. And as we open up today, loved ones, I want to welcome you back to this adventure that we have, but not the kind of Advent that we've been used to, not the Advent that waits for God to show up from somewhere else outside of us, or because of some prayer that we pray. I believe this house of community is too awake for that. We're not waiting for a baby to be born in the manger so that that baby can grow up and rescue us. It's a beautiful story, yes, and I cast no shade on it. But to me, it has already done its job. This Advent, for me this year, is not nostalgia. It is about awareness. See, in New Thought circles for years, we have said there's a very different question when it comes to all of the ideas around Christianity and really any religious expression, but definitely Christianity. At least that's my personal experience because I've come through that lineage. And the question is not what is coming to the world, but what is coming alive in me. This is what I love about New Thought, is it's always bringing us back full circle to the individual, to the person. So not what is happening or coming into the world in terms of Christmas Day and the baby in the manger, but what is waking up in my consciousness? What is stirring in the deep place of me where the Holy Spirit, pure presence, higher consciousness, divine intelligence, whatever you want to call it, the Spirit whispers, what will you allow me to do in you? Advent means arrival. So today, I'm asking, and I'm asking you to ask, what is arriving in me right now? Right in the middle of my life as it actually is. This is what it means to be in the present moment, but it's also what it means to be spiritually awake. So this is not a countdown to Christmas. For me, this is a calibration to consciousness. I'm continuing to align with the truth of my nature. So today we're going to combine the two movements of Advent, the candle of hope, which I'm renaming as possibility, and the candle of peace, which I'm going to call throughout today's talk, coherence. So let's walk through both real quick. Hope, possibility. Looking from just hope to possibility. And let me tell you why. Because traditionally, we've called the first candle hope, but hope, at least in the way it was taught to me, and maybe to you, but religion taught it in a way that to me is a little passive, It's also a little wishful. It's always far off. It's a little like sending a prayer up to God and then crossing your fingers, like God has some mail room that's sorting through the mail and finally going to send you a letter maybe by spring. To me, in New Thought, we call this candle possibility, potentiality. Possibility is not wish. Possibility is remembrance. Possibility is the voice in your spirit that's saying, you're not waiting on a miracle. You are the place where miracles take shape. I like Eddie Watkins Jr.'s song that says, I am the place where God shows up. I'm not waiting for it to happen. I don't have to go to a temple, a synagogue, or a church. Even gathering as First Unity, we don't have to go to a particular building for us to experience this pure presence. I am the place where God shows up. I'm not waiting for a miracle. I am the place where miracles start to take shape. Hope is not saying, I wish something would change. Hope is actually saying, it's already happening, and I choose to align with the happening. The Yud-He Vuv-He, as is spoken of in the Exodus account of the Jewish Bible. See, there's a difference between hoping for, in a traditional sense, and awakening to. I mean, you can hope for a healed life, or you can awaken to the fact that healing intelligence is already in your cells. Your cells. That was, my country came out just then, in your cells. Not your sails as in a sailboat, but the intelligence, the healing intelligence is already in your cells. Every cell of your body has that healing intelligence in it. Now, you can hope for new opportunities, or you can awaken to the reality that creativity is your nature. To me, I can hope for direction to come, or I can awaken to that quiet, still small voice, as is spoken of in the Christian Bible, that quiet guidance that has never left me. Bob Proctor, I find to be a very interesting and very intelligent individual, a powerful, really, teacher of New Thought principles. He used to say this a lot: you were born rich. You only think you're poor. Now, I want to say that again. You were born rich. You only think you're poor. Now, I like to think that he wasn't talking about he was talking about consciousness in that statement, not bank accounts. That it wasn't about how much money you had in the bank, but it was about how you think. Because as one thinks, so are they. You see, possibility is the truth. That every outcome that aligns with your highest self already exists in the field of consciousness. So you're not trying to convince the universe to help you. You are tuning yourself to receive, tuning and turning yourself to receive what is already yours, possibly what repentance means. It means to rethink. Instead of thinking in terms of hope being a wishful thing that's always out in front of me somewhere, never actually with me, I'm moving at this from the realization that hope is actually the potential and the possibilities of all miracles that are within me already, and that I'm not trying to convince the universe to love me or to help me or to be generous to me. I am tuning into that field of consciousness that's already mine. Jesus said it like this, and this is my own translation of it: when you pray, pray from the place where the things are already true, or the thing is already true. We have a saying, I can't remember who coined this saying, but if I could, I would credit them, that says we don't pray to God, we pray from God. It's the posture of praying from that divinity that's within. You see, possibility is sitting at the table right now with Spirit before the facts catch up. Possibility, potential, is the ability to see with the inner eye when the outer eyes are not cooperating, and sometimes they're not. Possibility is faith waking up as perception. And here's the thing about faith. Jesus never taught it, by the way, faith in God or faith in Jesus. Jesus said your faith has made you whole. He was talking about trust versus fear. Now, that's something we could get into at another time. He wasn't talking about faith in or belief in something. Faith never was that to Jesus. Faith was the opposite of fear. It was trust. And faith is not hoping for what might be. Faith is perceiving what already is, but maybe still unseen in the physical world. So this first candle invites us to walk like people who know something, to talk like people who are expecting something. The expectation is the breeding ground for the miracle. To live like people who are not begging the world to open a door because we remember that we're the ones carrying the keys. I'm a key carrier, not a door beggar. I'm not begging for a door. I know the keys dwell within me. Jesus said, I give you the keys to the kingdom. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in the heavens. And heaven's not off in the sky in the sweet by and by. It's celestial. It's the unseen space, the invisible space. But I am the one who is the conduit, and I am the one who's the laboratory that makes the invisible become visible within the womb of my soul. So here is the practice for week 1. Walk around your life with a creative expectancy, not anxiety, not pressure, not worry, not fear, not trying to force the river to flow, just expectancy. Expectancy is not tension. It is relaxation that trusts the seed. Loved ones, the seed knows what it's doing. Your life knows what it's doing. Possibility is already in motion. So instead of just hope, because again, it's been sort of a wishful thing, let's look at this first week of Advent, or the first segment of Advent, as possibility and potential rather than just hope. And then I wanted to look at peace, but I wanted to move beyond peace as we have thought of it toward the word coherence, because that's what I hear this year for the Advent season. So it's coherence. Now, some of you will say, yeah, you've been talking a lot about coherence. How does this play out? Well, the second candle of Advent is called peace, but peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is the presence of coherence. This is the way I saw it. When the word coherence came into mind for the word peace for me, the way I saw it was, I am recognizing that I'm not at odds with life. I'm not in a battle or a war. See this? I'm not in a battle or a war, but I am cohorts with the universe. The universe, the divine intelligence, is a cohort of mine. So this is coherence. And it means the system is in harmony. It means the heart rhythm is smooth. And it's not the rhythm of this mechanical machine, but it's the anahata, the heart chakra behind it. So when we talk about coherence, we're talking about a system that's in harmony, which means then the heart rhythm is smooth, the breath is steady. So this is body, heart, and the inner world is not battling itself. So the heart rhythm is smooth, the breath is steady, and this inner world is not battling itself. That's what peace is to me. It's coherence. Peace does not mean everything outside is calm. If you're waiting for that to happen, before you enter the vibrational frequency of coherence and peace, you're going to be waiting a long time. Peace means that you're no longer outsourcing your inner experience to outer conditions. I just said a mouthful there. If you need to back up and go back and listen, I'm going to say it again. You know how I am. I'll say it again. But peace means that you're no longer outsourcing your inner experience to outer conditions. Peace is not when the world stops being chaotic. Peace does not occur when the world settles into what you think it should be. Peace is when you stop pretending that the chaos out there is your identity in here. Coherence is when the nervous system remembers the soul. It remembers the truth. So most of us are not unpeaceful because the world is loud. We're unpeaceful because we have forgotten how to listen to the quiet. As Ram Dass would say, I could hear him saying it now, the more quiet you become, the better you can hear. Coherence happens when your life goes from static and noise to signal. Oh my gosh, a flock of doves just flew over. That is fantastic. Doves representing peace. Woo, I love that. Coherence happens when your life goes from static to signal, clear signal, from noise to meaning, from all scattered to centered. You see, when the heart and the mind begin to move in the same direction, something powerful and magnificent happens. Literally magnificent and magnetic happens. You become a tuning fork for your environment. Your stillness begins to lead every room you come into. To me, peace sounds like we're going to slow this thing down a little bit. We're not in a race. We're in a moment. Let's live in this moment. When you are coherent, you walk differently. Science tells us that you breathe differently. You respond instead of react. So what happens is that, this is the way I see it, your presence becomes a sanctuary. It becomes a sanctuary for you first, which actually is the most important thing, but then for people who cross your path. You become a walking sanctuary. And here's an even maybe more powerful and beautiful truth. Peace is learned through the body, not the intellect. The body is the doorway. The breath is the guide. The heart is the drum. And the soul is the conductor. This is a song. This is music. Life is music, is a dance. So again, let me go through that again. The body is the doorway. The breath is the guide. The heart is the drum. And the soul is the conductor. This is probably why we've said for many, many years that so-and-so marches to the beat of their own drum. I hope so. We've said that about people that we thought were strange or just different. But I hope you do march to the beat of your own drum, because that's your heart. And your soul is the conductor of the orchestra. Now, when you regulate your breath, your brain waves follow. And when your brain waves follow, this is science here, I know, let me get back into science, your body actually softens because you lose the tension. You drop the stress. And when your body softens, your intuition wakes up. And all of a sudden, there becomes this opening. And from that opening, you begin to see more clearly than you saw before. When your intuition wakes up, your life begins to be guided instead of guessed. Can I say that again? So when your intuition wakes up, your life becomes guided instead of guessed. You're not wandering around in the dark. You're in the luminosity and the illumination of the truth. This is what I believe Jesus, the Master, meant when he said, I'm the light of the world. In other words, I'm lit up. I'm in luminosity. I'm illumination happening as life is breathing. But I'm going away. So I'm showing you what you have within you and what you can become on a regular basis. But I'm going away, and you are the light of the world. And this is the opening of the intuition, the opening of the third eye. If the eye be single, the whole being is filled with what? Light, illumination. And when that wakes up, you're guided and you're not just guessing. This week, we practice coherence along with potential and possibility. Maybe a wonderful practice for you, in fact, I know it is, it's just a matter of you deciding to do it, is slow breathing, gentle presence, returning to the heart. letting the nervous system sit in the lap of your soul and just be loved and held. Peace is coherence, and coherence is power. So if we bring week 1 and 2 together, which I've done this week, week 1 is possibility, week 2 is coherence. Possibility asks, what potential in me is waking up? Because remember, we're talking about Advent here and arrival. So what potential in me is waking up? And coherence, peace, asks, can I become still enough to hear it? So again, possibility is asking, what's waking up in me? Coherence is saying, can I settle down enough to hear it? To me, when I see possibility, I think of the spark. But I think of coherence, peace, as that steady flame, pilot light, if you will, that is piloting your way. Possibility is the seed, and coherence is the soil. Can you hear that? Possibility is the spark. Coherence is the steady flame. Possibility is the seed. Coherence is the soil. Possibility names what is trying to unfold, trying to arrive in me. And coherence creates the atmosphere for it to grow and develop. So, loved ones, this is the Advent story, not really of history, but of metaphysics, new thought ideas, that Christ is not a baby in a manger. That was all metaphor, I believe. I believe completely metaphor. I love the story, but the story has a depth to it. You know, we need to begin to understand that myths are not necessarily untrue. In fact, most of the time they are truths that are encoded and embedded in these myths. But Christ is not a baby in a manger. Christ is consciousness that's endeavoring to awaken in you. Mary is not just some woman in Bethlehem. Mary is the receptive part of your soul that says yes to the possibilities and even says yes to the impossible. Think about that. Because the Mary part of you, the receptive part of your soul, sees in the impossible the words, I'm possible. And because I am created in the likeness and the image of God. This is for you now. I'm saying I here, but I'm not talking about just me. Every individual on this planet is an emanation and a manifestation, a person who was in the heart mind of the divine, and you were an idea and an iteration that took on this initiation into the human body, and you have the divine within you. I'm possible. Type that into the comments. I'm possible. Therefore, everything is possible. Type that into the comments. I'm possible. Therefore, everything is possible. So Mary is not just a woman in Bethlehem. Mary is the receptive part of your soul that says yes to this possibilities and to the impossible. Joseph is that steady part of you that protects what God is doing within you. Can you hear that? Joseph is that steady fathering presence that protects what source, the divine, what God is doing within you. And the star is not a cosmic GPS. The star is your intuition, illuminating the next steps. And the manger, it's not in a barn. The manger is your mind when it becomes humble enough for a miracle to land in it. And it simply holds it in the crib. This is the arrival of awareness. This is the birth of Christ consciousness within the human spirit. This is the season where you stop looking outward for salvation and you start recognizing the sacred emergence that's already happening inside of you. So this is possibility, called hope in the typical Advent. This is potential and possibility and coherence. That deep, abiding trust in the connection that you have. And that is what brings the stillness and the peace into your life. Start recognizing this sacred emergence that's already happening inside of you and allow it to come forward. So if you don't mind, just take a moment, if you would, and close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so or need to do so. Take a breath with me. Inhale softly and exhale slowly. Let your shoulders relax. Let your spirit rise. Breathe in and exhale. 2 movements this week. Possibility, coherence. Possibility says, I open to what is arriving. Coherence says, I become steady enough to receive it. Breathe into that. I open to what is arriving. I become steady enough to receive it. The invitation this week is to carry these 2 lights throughout this week. Walk with creative expectancy. Rest in sacred coherence. And live as if the Christ within you is not only awakening, but expanding, because it is. And so it is. Breathe in deeply and exhale fully. This is the great Advent and adventure of your life. Possibility, potential, peace, coherence. This is our assignment into the alignment, and we're affirming that this is what is arriving in our life. And so it is. Loved ones, thank you so much for joining us today for our devotional service. The ways to give are on the screen right now. You can, of course, text to give. You can utilize our app. You can also go to firstunity.org/give. And on that page, you can actually decide to become an auto giver. That's really what it takes to become a sustaining partner to this ministry. If you believe in what we're doing here, I'm asking you to consider supporting the light that currently is and seeding that light for the future. We continue with our ways to give by offering our P.O. Box, our Cash App, and our QR code for you to scan on the screen. So I want to say a special thank you to everyone who has chosen this community to be a place where you want to give your financial seed. Know that when you're planting that seed, it is going into fertile soil, and you activate the law of circulation in your life. God bless you.
Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Now there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Now there is peace on earth. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. And our prayer of protection together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I love you, family. Make it a great Sunday.